How did you get through that? You must have at times, though, felt forsaken. You must have at times thought, this is it.
I never felt forsaken. I got something like 4,000 letters. I deeply regret that my family and my close friends have had to go through what they've done, but I got immense support, practical and otherwise. I never felt forsaken. I would have been terribly disappointed to spend 3 or 4 years there.
What did you do with your time, though, while you were there?
Oh, I had a daily routine. I followed the advice I've often given to priests when they're in a bit of trouble. I said, keep up your prayers, get out of bed at a good time, eat properly, exercise every day, and try to sleep at night. Now, I did that, and I also read and wrote. A lot of good friends sent me many articles, loads of books, so I'd quite settled into the routine. It was like, as I said, a slightly worldly retreat. Retreat is a time when you go away to pray, say in a monastery or something like that. Now, it was a bit worldly because I had a kettle and I had a television set, which at least you normally don't have on a retreat. Careful, you'll have a lot of people saying, look, see, we do make prisons holiday farms. We're too soft on prisoners. No, well, that's not the case. I mean, the Unit 8 is a grim place. Now, there's a dozen cells. All of them are the same. They're 2.5 metres wide. I don't know how long, 5 or 6 metres long. You've got a toilet, you've got a shower, a bed with a firm base and a chair. Our conditions were exactly the same, but I used to say I was up in the Toorak end because all the us quiet people were there, but the poor fellas at the other end, often damaged by ice, roaring in anger and anguish. And sometimes I said to one of the warders, how do they make so much noise banging? And he said they get like a horse and stand and with their feet they kick the door. And flooding their cells and occasionally defecating and sometimes refusing to go, so they've got to gas them and then get a dog squad to do that. It happened very rarely, but it happened. But it was well led, that unit, and well staffed. And one of the surprises in jail was, I mean, there were a few narcs, of course, was the basic decency and of the prison officers. And I think both jails were well run.
How did you first hear that the High Court had cleared you?
I was sitting in my cell. I could have gone outside and I thought, no, I'll sit in my cell. And I had a few things to do to tidy up the cell in the hope that I'd get out. And then about 9:30 or so, I sat down and I went through my prayers, and about 5 to 10, a couple of the prisoners who were in the adjacent internal area, one of them said, Channel 7 are showing it live. So I went to 7, and so I took great pleasure in watching how disconcerted the reporter was when the word came through, the appeal has been upheld and the convictions are quashed. And so he rallied a bit. And then a minute or two later he said, and it's 7-0, 7-0. So that was how I heard. And when it came through, one enormous cheer went up from outside. And then my two friends came knocking on the door congratulating me.
Your two friends, one being a murderer?
No, he's not. Well, I don't think he is. And one of the things I've become a bit interested in is people who are falsely condemned.